Hi, Dave. So, tell us about your home.
Okay, well, I arrived here in 1990 with the organisation called Sunseed, right? You know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I've met some of them.
And I came from Austria. I had a health practice in Austria, doing deep tissue body work, and brilliant clientele. But after 5.5 years, I was kind of bored in somehow or another. And so I looked to take 6 months off away, make a change, make a difference. And I decided that to come down here to the south of Spain and say work, do something for 4 hours a day, pay £50 a week. I thought, wow, man, this has got to be good. Because at that time I was earning about £300 a week to £500 a week. And so to come down here with £50 a week, well, I mean, mate, this was really sabbatical. So I came down in my camper van and I stayed with Sunseed for about 6 months. In the first month, there was a friend here called Mike, and he knew Steve Wade, who was running a company called Sun and Wind in England, solar panels and so on. So I drove up to England, fitted the first solar panel that was seen here in the village to my camper van. Had the first little sound system, ghetto blaster, and we would go out up to the quarry. We'd have little mini raves, and this was in 1991, 1992. And then I stayed here for a year, like in the permaculture concept, to see where I am. How is the weather? How's the insect life? And very importantly, how's the social life? How are the people in Sorbus? How are the people around me? So after a year, I found, I like the people. I like the Sorbus people. They're a little similar to the Irish people. A lot of my family live in Ireland, who went through and have been through very difficult times and hunger and hardship, and the result seems to be a sense of humour, a sense of like, well, this is how it is, and going on regardless. So the kind of strength, the kind of humour, the kind of straightforwardness. And so then it took me another year to buy the place where we're sitting right now, and these were complete ruins. But I really liked the view. And my friend Piers owned the Roadhouse, and this house was part of his collection of properties which he bought. So after a year, then we actually bought these ruins. Now I thought, so did Piers think, that we'd only bought the little house which is down below, which Joshua will probably take you to see in a minute or two. So I rebuilt the first house first off. The police locale came along and said, yeah, that's good, but hey, the best way to do this, Dave, is like, about 25 meters by 25 meters, then you don't need to have these serious building regulations. So I did. And then by 1999, 1998, 1997, 1998, I got enough money to start to build where we are sitting right now. Also, I went over to England, and I got a good buddy in the accountancy world, since I've been self-employed forever. And Nick started his company, and I was one of his first clients. Then he got onto the board of chartered accountants in London. And so I said, Nick, how can I raise 30,000 without paying any, without any assets or income? And so we did it. So that was the first 30 grand, and we started to build the house. It took a year to get the permissions to build the house. And at that time, I had a couple of friends from Bulgaria. Now, Bulgaria in 1990 was a difficult place to be, and Pavel and Maria got these passports, which was fine, Bulgarian. But they'd been stamped by the Guardia Civil as having to leave the country within 3 days. So I met them in Beneficio. Looking a bit stressed, 18, 19 years old, strong, fun. So I said, hey, come here to El Rio. So we're here for about 3 months, and I've got these building permissions started. So I said, hey guys, what do you think? Should we drive back to Bulgaria with your false passports, Czech passports, false ones, and go back to Bulgaria? So we did. It was a great trip. it worked out. We had amazing adventures. Don't want to make this too long. It'll get a bit into the life history.
That's okay. I don't mind.
Well, we went on.
I can chop it and edit it later on.
Taking all the smallest routes, as in Michael, the controls, because there wasn't like quite Schengen in those days. And so we go through the smallest controls in the mountains. It took us 10 days to get, and we put on music like "All You Need Is Love, Love." It's a camper van, and it's like, come on, piss off, And so it wasn't until going through Vukovar was a kind of a tricky one. We were driving and realised that we needed to go through United Nations control zone to save going like hundreds of kilometres around the back. So we got up to the gate there. We bribed the gate people with cigarettes or whatever, cigarettes I think it was, and then we get in. We drive through. The whole area is kind of deserted, and going into Vukovar first we could see the bullet holes in street signs, and then moving into Vukovar, how the blocks of flats and what were modern buildings had been destroyed, actually like Gaza today. But then I was very shocked, to tell you the truth. Yeah. And then we turned right to go out of the town, and I saw this like donkey cart, two people on, and I could see the girl was still very definitely in shock. And it was a beautiful evening with the sun shining, and as we go out of Vukovar, then there's the church and the water tower blasted as well. My God, this is the 21st century or the 20th century, and this is what war looks like. And now we see it in Gaza. Anyway, then we got stuck. We got to the other side of the United Nations area, and the guys looked at the passports and said, "No, you can't come out," and called Pavel a monkey. We was a bit pissed off with that. So there we were, running out of petrol or diesel. Stuck inside the United Nations zone, and so no panic. We drive along and we find another exit, and we got Russians there. And Pavel speaks Russian, and I don't know if we did a bottle of whiskey or cigarettes or whatever. But then we got out, and then we got out into a place which is just on the border of this genocidal area, and it translates into hornet's nest as the English word for it. Well, we were out of petrol, right? So, and I only got Slovenian dollars, and we were in Croatia or whichever country it was. So we stop in, and I fill up with petrol, and I get the Slovenian dollars. This guy goes off like a volcano, He's like singing and swearing. Then the next customer comes in. And, "Oh, thank you very much." And she's like, "Rah." And so I was like, "Well, okay. Look, we got credit card, go to the bank, and give passport. That's like security. Okay, good, we go." So I was like, get in the car, go out, start driving off, get stopped by the police. "Where are your papers?" "Oh, left the passport in the petrol station."
Oh no.
So that's very cool. So let's just forget around that one. Then we get to the cash machine over there. There's a thunderstorm coming in. You can hear the thunder coming. There's a nightclub out there, kind of opening up, and there's got a sense of violence in the area, and the cash machine doesn't work. So I said, Pavel's getting a bit itchy, and he's quite a big one. So I wanted to see action break out. So I said, "Hey, come on, we're just going to say fuck off out, and we'll spend the night, and then come back in the morning." So we did, and then in the morning, then I come back. And then there's the United Nations Bank. So I go to the United Nations Bank and I get money from a credit card on the United Nations Bank without a passport. And therefore the UN in these areas are lifesavers. I mean, not that my life was in danger, but it's like yourself, we go adventuring and then we come up with the answers, whatever's needed. And yeah, so that was fine. We got some dollars, went to the petrol station, paid the petrol station. Got my passport back, and then we went off to Romania. So at the Romanian border, there was like a thunderstorm going on in I can't remember the capital of it's not Sofia, that's Bulgaria. But anyway, so there was this thunderstorm going on there. The border guard, being Romanian, looked at Pavel's passport and said, "No fucking way, come with me." Boom, 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 boom. So they go inside, and then sign here. But Valve's a bit of a wild one, so he puts a cross rather than that. So they come back to the card and say, well, we couldn't get through to Bucharest because the lines are down because of the storm. So I can go, but you two, no. So I said, no, I'll go with them. And so we went, okay. So we went back to Budapest, and on the way we picked up a Romanian Buddhist. So then we went back to Budapest, stayed in the Buddhist type monastery type place, whatever, center. Said, well, okay. So system here, go to the Bulgarian embassy and say that your passports have been stolen on the bus and get temporary passports to go into Bulgaria. Perfect, because otherwise you go through the Czech passport or whatever with a Bulgarian passport with a stamp on. You get arrested or fined or fucked over some way. So this was just so perfect. Get turned back, come on, see, passport, get two passports, good. So in we go, and then we stay in Bulgaria about 6 months, traveling about in our camper van and with loads of action because people had.
What year was this?
This was 1998.
1998.
1997, 98.
Right.
Bulgaria had just gone through 1,000% inflation in 10 months. So people who had, $1,000, dollars equivalent to the bank had one left. So it was absolute weird situation.
Can you give us a tour of this house?
A tour of this house, yeah?
Well,
yeah. So
if you're interested.
This house then we built in 1998, 1999.
I mean, also